stitch is the cable stitch, and I love to do this stitch. It's very easy to do, and I'm going to share with you how easy it is. This beautiful little dress is called a bishop dress. It has a rounded yoke, and it's absolutely beautiful. I know that my little daughter Joanna and all of our granddaughters have had so many beautiful bishop dresses. The cable stitch is the stitch that goes, this first one that goes right around the neckline. It also, just like the stem and the outline, in this case, it just covers one row. And it's a very beautiful stitch. In a few minutes, we're going to learn how to do all of these stitches on this beautiful bishop dress. But right now, we're going to do the cable stitch. The cable stitch, this is a little bit closer, a little bit more up close look. The cable stitch looks as if it has one stitch that was stitched up a little bit higher and one stitch that was stitched a little bit lower. That was what I first thought the very first smocking class I ever took. Well, guess what? There's a secret. They're both stitched on exactly the same line. The reason one of them looks like it's higher and one lower is that the thread was stitched with one of them below the line and one of them above the line. We still stitch on that one gathering row with the needle running every time exactly on that gathering row. Okay, to do a down cable, we come in on the left-hand side of one pleat. Where is the thread, the floss, or the cat's tail? It is below the needle. I'm still stitching right on the gathering row. So with the thread below the needle, I come in and take a bite running that thread parallel. I pull it through, and then I pull up to tighten the stitch. That would be on a down cable. Now that is my down cable, and the next stitch is going to be the up cable. Once again, I'm stitching exactly on that line, but what makes it an up cable? You're right, the thread is above the needle. All right, I come over, I take another stitch, which is the up cable. Then what do I do to tighten the up cable? You got it. I pull down to tighten it. Now sometimes you're going to need to adjust those just a little bit, pushing them tighter together. So I push the up cable, I push it down to level it, and then the down cable, I kind of push it up to level it. And I'm going to show you exactly how that works in a minute, but we're going to start now with the cable stitch, which we use so much in smocking. All right, I've done a row of cable stitch for you here so you can see what it looks like. And as you can see, it looks as if one stitch is above the line and one stitch below the line, but that is not true. We do all of the stitching right on the gathering line. Let me open this up. Once again, we have blue gathering rows on the whole spaces and orange on the half spaces. Okay, now I've started this a little bit, and that was an up cable. So my next stitch for you is going to be a down cable. Now what do I mean by down cable? You got it. The thread is down. I stitch every stitch right on that gathering line. And once again, do you see my needle runs parallel with that gathering row? All right, now you remember what we do to tighten a down cable? We pull it up. And then look at this. My thread is already exactly where it should be. It is up. So I move over one pleat, take a little bite, and remember how I tighten the up cable? That's right, I pull it down. All right, the thread is exactly where it's supposed to be for a down cable. The thread is below the needle. So I come over and take another bite, pull it up, and you know what? I need an up cable. Guess where the thread is? It's exactly where it's supposed to be. And I leave the thread up and take another stitch. And to tighten the up cable, I pull it down. And where is it for the down cable? It's exactly where it's supposed to be. I'm going to leave it below the needle and take another stitch. Now I'm going to do a little bit faster for you now. Now that it's above the needle for an up cable, I tighten by pulling down. It's below the needle for a down cable, I tighten by pulling up. It's above the needle for an up cable, I tighten by pulling it down. Now, you know we were talking about pushing these cables in to kind of smooth them in a little bit. You can take your thumb and do that, or you can take your needle and kind of push them in to make them a little bit closer together. All right, let's do that one more time. All right, for a down cable, the thread is below the needle. I take one little bite of the pleat, tighten it. The thread is automatically above the needle. I leave it above the needle. I take another stitch. I'm running this needle exactly on that blue gathering row. The thread is up for an up cable. The thread is down for a down cable. The thread is up for an up cable. And then if I want to really see exactly how they're looking, I'll push those pleats a little bit closer together and maybe take my needle, or you can take your thumb. Sometimes I just take my needle. But you know what? They'll be exactly where they're supposed to be if you're extremely careful about running that stitch bite right along the gathering row and keeping it straight. That's very important to do. And the cable goes pretty fast, cable stitching. You don't have to adjust them and push them together, except every now and then. That one might have come in just a little bit low, so I'll push it a little closer right there. And this is the cable stitch, one of the stitches that we do most in smocking. And you know what? Picture smocking has, I guess, some other stitches, but mainly it's stacked cables. So this is a very important stitch, not only in geometric smocking, which is what we're doing now, but in picture smocking, which Kathy McMakin will show you how to do, making those cute little animals and the birds and the trees and the things that really make pictures. Okay, that's the cable stitch. It's a very easy one to do. Now, next I have a stitch that really has three names. It's called the chevron stitch, it's called the baby wave, it's called the one-step wave. Any way you look at it, it's easy to do and fun.